Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee Chat. I'm here with Jim Chandler, and he probably appreciated my rock music intro.
Totally. Yeah, I was thinking that. Like I was like rocking along with it. So yeah, totally.
I wanted to get people into a good mood for the intro, so I was searching high and low for rock music intros on Audio Jungle.
Well, that definitely rocks. Yeah, I was excited about that myself. So hopefully everybody else will be. So yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
for sure. Good morning, everyone that is watching. So, like I said, I have Jim Chandler here. Jim, could you give us a little background for those that don't know you?
Okay, so I am a rock vocal coach, and what I do is I help students who are struggling with either kind of hitting higher notes or struggling with kind of soreness in their throat, things like that from trying to sing rock. So I teach them how to sing rock better so it's pain free and sing with ease and sing, far beyond the heights that they ever thought they could. So
Yeah. Do you ever work with anybody outside of rock, or is that just the main niche?
yeah, I mean that's always been my niche, and I find
Mm.
that is one that because I've taken so much like that, I've dedicated my life to like singing rock
Yeah.
music, and it's a different kind of style. It's harsher on the voice, so
Hmm.
that's why I find like I can work and I have worked with a lot of people outside of rock, but I
Hmm.
find that is the one that people have the most difficulty with and they struggle
Hmm.
with because a lot of people when they try to sing the rock they usually damage their voice because of it because they
Yeah.
don't have the experience. But I've sung professionally for over 30 years and
Hmm.
I've lost my voice a number of times from singing incorrectly.
Yeah.
And so that has caused me to learn okay the pitfalls
Hmm.
that you can get into when you're using your voice incorrectly. And this goes down to kind of even speaking. A lot of people
Hmm.
speak without good support. So they tend to,
Yeah.
they kind of, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I know a lot of people, just even
Hmm.
speakers, like lose their voice.
Yeah.
And, and it's really just down to the support. And a lot of that is partly what I've found is like with rock singing, you need a
Hmm.
ton of support. You need a lot of energy. And like that's
Yeah.
what I do in my shows and stuff like that. It's just really high energy. So and that's my forte. But yeah, but I've worked with all kinds of stuff, like boy bands and all kinds of
Yeah.
different folks. And like yeah, and I love all kinds of music. Like
Hmm.
don't get me wrong, like I love every single type of music well, with the exception kind of country and
Oh, okay.
reggae. I'm not huge on the country. I don't hate on any kind of music, but I'm not
Yeah.
big into rock. What about yourself? What kind of musics do you like?
I
Musics.
like a little bit of everything, and it depends on my mood, right? I
Yeah.
I personally like country for Sunday drives and
Yeah.
morning time because it's a
Okay.
little bit softer for me. um but depending on my mood on the weekend, I
Yeah.
love 80s. I was born 1984 when Michael Jackson Thriller came out. So I love 80s music.
Okay.
I like rock and roll. Um I like pop. I like some rap. Rap isn't my favorite, but I like
Yeah.
some rap. I like anything with a good beat or a good vibe, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
that's natural. That's our like
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Music
What
that
was
you
it gonna
feel
say?
like it's just okay, get on with it. That's the stuff I'm like, okay, change the channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, like that is the big downfall to like Spotify and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
could just so easily just go like listen to
Yeah.
something for like 10 seconds and go, I
Yeah.
don't like it, move on to something else. But like
Right?
when I grew up, it was you put a record on and because it was hard to change, I mean, it wasn't hard, but it was a big deal to change a record, even to the
Yeah.
next song, because you had to like find the needle to put the next.
Oh yeah.
So it
I
was
still
like you
have a
put.
record player, Jim.
Do you? Oh, awesome! Like I haven't
Yeah,
had
my,
one
my mom
in
and dad
years.
gave it to us, and along with all the old records for it. So
No
I
way!
know,
Oh, what a
right?
gift! So
It's
cool! I love
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, when you put a record on, it was like that's you listen to that whole whatever it
Yeah.
was. You know what I mean? And well, so what? Tell me, what country do you like? Because maybe I'm just listening to the wrong country.
Um, See, the country that I like isn't like the twangy stuff. It's more bridging on like pop, if that makes sense. Even like
Okay,
country
yeah,
rock. Yeah, like
right.
country
Okay,
pop,
yeah,
country rock. Like not the old school twangy country, but
yeah.
like you'd almost be able to confuse it with some rock or some pop music. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Who's
Yeah.
that guy? Dude, one of the things that country. Okay, so when
Mm,
when Garth Brooks was out, you're not probably not a
yeah.
big Garth Brooks fan. Rock, like he was like a rock star of the country
Oh
to me.
yeah.
Now I could get into like I watched some of the performances of him, and I was like, that guy is like he's like
Oh
I
yeah.
could totally get into country if it was him, and the
Yeah.
same with reggae. I'm just looking on here. Somebody was like said we used to really like ska in the '80s. Kevin lost his
Yeah.
voice here. He was on the
Yeah. You
drill
probably like
square.
Eric Church too. Um and Luke
Eric
Bryan. Luke
Church.
Bryan and
Okay,
Eric Church you'd probably like. Eric Church
I
is
don't
very
know these
rocky. I've been
guys.
to a couple of his concerts. Yeah.
Okay, all
But he's a
right.
country
Yeah, yeah.
singer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I must get into the because also like I was
Mm,
never really big into reggae, but when I watched
yeah.
a live performance of Bob Marley, because it, like to reggae to me sounds all the same. It's like boom,
Yeah.
blick, boom, blick, boom, blick, and they're all the same. I'm like, it's the same song, it's just different
Yeah.
singers. But I watched a performance live of Bob Marley, and I was like
Okay.
just completely taken into it. I was just like, he, what, like you could feel it, you know? So
Yeah.
any performance, I think I could just get into any performer that really, that just feels the music, you know? If a performer is
Yeah.
really good, it doesn't matter what the music is, you know? For me, like I
Exactly.
could just see that that person is just so into it and just, it's just drawing me in. And that's what I love just about music in general. So
Exactly. We have a couple questions in the audience. Do you
cool.
teach one-on-one gym or do you do just groups?
Yeah, I do both, one-on-one and group. Yeah, it's kinda it's weird,
Mhm.
I love the one-on-one because I'm just so big into I love that kind of that engagement, like,
Yeah.
one-on-one, so it's just you have a chance to really get personal with that one person, so
Mhm.
I do like the one-on-one, yeah, so I do teach a lot of one-on-one stuff,
That's
so
good. And
yeah.
do you have any tips for anybody experiencing or preventing vocal fry? Because I know that's a huge issue no matter what people are doing. Like for me, like even
Mhm.
like talking on these things or like people that are filming courses or like
Yeah.
people that are singers. I have a lot of actors that follow me, so a lot of people that do voiceover work.
Mhm.
Like when you get sick, you get vocal fry too. So vocal fry seems to be like a big issue for a lot of people.
Yeah, and do you know what is like really synchronous of having this discussion because
Mhm.
we were on lockdown in Ireland for about 18 months where I wasn't able to perform live, but I was
Okay.
still running courses and I was doing how to things like I was singing, and I
Yeah.
sing all the time, like I'm always singing, but
Mhm.
singing for performance is a little bit different in that
Yeah.
you're singing kind of all out. You're singing.
Mhm.
So recently in a couple of so now we're back performing, and recently in a couple of performances, I
Mhm.
was having a lot of difficulty, and it was with that fry. Was I was going, what is going on? I felt like I've
Yeah.
lost my thing, and
Mhm.
I've heard other singers talk about this. Thank goodness. So I'm like
Mhm.
I don't feel like the only person in the room, but there's a girl. There's a band called Ginger. Now I don't know if you're into
Okay.
metal stuff. No, probably not.
Some, yeah, some, not
So,
all.
have you ever heard of Ginger?
The name sounds familiar. My husband really likes, heavy metal, so
Okay, well he might know of Ginger, but the singer
yeah.
Tatiana, and she's a girl. She does that kind of growling singing. It's like this, like she
Mhm.
does a lot of those kind of things.
Yeah.
And there's a really particular style that you have to do that so you don't like kill your your throat doing that. So what she says that when she doesn't do touring a lot, she loses that and has to kind of remind herself how to do that. So
Okay.
because of that, recently I've been having this difficulty. I'm like, why am I having this fry thing? That I'm like, it's like
Yeah.
it's extra. It's like a phlegmy thing in the throat. So there's a
Yeah.
couple of things, and one of them I did with some success, which is gargle with
Yeah.
salt water, warm salt water. That helps to kind of clear that,
Okay.
and drink a lot of water. Okay, so
Okay.
if you do get sick and you have that vocal fry, you got to get over that.
Mm.
Water and gargling with salt water. So you take about a teaspoon of salt and you put it
Mhm.
in about a half a mug of warm water,
Yeah.
and then you gargle with that a few times, and that helps to loosen that. Okay, and
Okay.
it's also really soothing for the throat. And
Yeah.
the other thing that for me, and I was this morning, I was out singing because when I run and I kind of sing when I'm running and kind of try to get warmed up, and I'm like, man, I'm still having that, like that, like that, really, and I couldn't
Yeah.
hit notes cleanly, and I was going, what is going on? And
Yeah.
what I realized was I have lost. You hear that? My dog shaking. She's come in here too. Come
It's
on in.
okay.
Come on. Come on. She lets it. Anytime I'm doing a video, is like her time to come in and like make noise and bug me, isn't it? Yes. Do you want to be on the show? Do you?
It's totally fine. I had my toddler jumping above my head. The one live I was doing, he's going boom, boom, boom because he was playing a game. I'm like, okay, I hope nobody can hear that.
It's
It's totally
great.
fine.
See, that's what live is all about. Live is live. So this a glass of port. I like Kevin's comments are made before drill. He says a small glass of port keeps the harshness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. Like
Yeah.
sometimes if you have like I don't drink anymore, but I used to for kind of anyway. I don't drink anymore, but I used to drink. I used to have a pint before I go on, and I found that relaxed me into not getting in my head about it and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, But the other main thing that I realized this morning, I'm like, why am
Mm.
I actually like freaked out about this, Jen. I was like,
Yeah.
and you may identify with this, but I was like, singing is my identity, and like if I can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
I was actually going, if I can't sing anymore, then who the heck am I? Like what?
Right?
Like what the hell am I gonna do? Like that's it. Like that is
Yeah.
my identity. Like I
Yeah.
identify as a singer. And if that's taken away, so I went through this
Yeah.
kind of weird spiritual thing this morning. I was but I also have a firm belief in
Yeah.
being able to heal myself and that words create and all of this stuff. Okay, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You and I went through the same course that teaches a lot of that sort of stuff. Okay, a lot of the mental
Yeah.
game. TCP, Jim Fortin, amazing, teaches all that stuff. Okay. So, and I've since then I've been working with his brother-in-law, the
Okay.
shaman, and
Yeah.
so I've
DX.
also learned how to heal myself on a
Mhm.
number of different occasions. And
Okay.
this is something that anybody can do, and it comes down to the power of belief and that
Mhm.
intention and that your words create. So I said, I'm going to figure this out. And I've done that throughout my career. I'm like, when
Yeah.
I first was singing and I was in choir and I
Yeah.
wanted to sing really high stuff. Some people may know Queensryche. I don't know if
Yeah.
yeah, Jim Fortin, great fella. Kevin's like, he's into. um, but I wanted to sing Queensryche, which was way,
Yeah.
way high stuff. And I'm a baritone. She was like, no, you're a baritone. And
Yeah.
I used to stand back because they
Mhm.
placed the baritones next to the sopranos. So I
Yeah.
was with all these girls and I'd hear the soprano lines like
Mhm.
way up there. And I would sing in falsetto along with them. And she would look at me and she'd be like, stop that. She'd be up there playing and she'd like, Jim, stop that. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to sing that. She's like, you're a
Mhm.
baritone. You're never going to be able to sing that. And I was like, forget that.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out how to do this. So
Yeah.
this morning I said, I'm going to figure this out. And Jen, long story short, I'm going to get into this. I was pushing from the wrong place. So what this is like, if you do, okay, so somebody knows, oh, Leanne, Silent Lucidity, yes, exactly. One of their great, yeah, one of their greatest songs ever. But so I said, okay, I'm pushing from the wrong place. And
Yeah.
what you do is people say sing from the diaphragm. Well, the
Okay.
diaphragm is not a conscious muscle. I mean, you can when you
Yeah.
what happens is the diaphragm is shaped like this. It's like a dome
Mm.
shaped muscle. And when it contracts, it kind of spreads out and goes flat. And
Okay.
the diaphragm like sucks in the air. So it's right here. Okay. So
Mhm.
it's like this dome shaped thing below your lungs, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is when it contracts, it spreads out and it sucks the air in your lungs. So
Okay.
that's what the diaphragm does. So people say sing from the diaphragm, which is
Yeah.
really it's confusing because you can't sing from your diaphragm. Your diaphragm
Yeah.
only brings air into your lungs. But
Yeah.
what you're doing when you're singing is you're pushing air out, right?
Mhm.
So you use your abdominal muscles, and then there's some abductors and adductors, which
Yeah,
are
the
up
ones that wrap
here.
around. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But you usually primarily use your abdominals. And so
Okay.
what the muscles that you should think of
Mhm.
when you're, I suppose, pushing, and if you have that vocal fry and you want to get past that, is
Yeah.
tense the abdominal muscles kind of below your belly button. So the really
Mhm.
low ones. So it's like you're pushing from there. Everything else up here is all relaxed. Okay.
Yeah.
So from there on up, it's all relaxed. So you're like,
Okay.
so you could just, and that's that tight chord closure, your vocal cords,
Yeah.
instead of that,
Yeah.
that's a real relaxed, you're, oh, that for me, that is when I'm like all relaxed up here. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a tight chord closure.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I mean is I'm like not pushing I'm
Yeah.
just
You're
kind
not
of
forcing
bringing,
it.
exactly. I'm just
Yeah.
bringing air in and kind of letting it fall out.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, I
where
was
you get,
asking too about that because I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, that little like that little growl, like the lower, because I was sick on the weekend with a head cold, so my voice
ah,
is lower than it's used to.
yeah. Well, try
Yeah.
to right now. A big part of it as well is you
Yeah.
need that nasal resonance. You need to be able to
Yeah.
breathe through your nose. Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you able to breathe through your nose right now?
Now I am. Yeah, I had like when you're sick and you get like that stuff running down your throat and makes it really sore. So yeah, I'm still
Yes.
battling that. So I don't know if it's just a matter of I just need to like rest my voice and like drink lots. But that's another reason I was asking because I get the same thing when I talk a lot on these, right? And by the end of
Mm,
it, you're like, oh my gosh, like my throat is so sore. And I don't know because with some actors and some people who speak, their voice changes when they go and they start giving a presentation to people. So
yeah.
it's almost like they're not in their authentic voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know like any tips for getting people to use like their authentic um, range, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the best thing is, we'll try right now to
Yeah.
do sort of, well, that, I don't know. You may know, I suppose in acting, they do probably a lot of voice work, right? Because you do that. So if you,
Well, not necessarily. No, unless you sign up
no?
for a vocal coach, you don't get coached on your voice. You just go for the
Oh,
acting training. So you have to sign up for a specific vocal coach
yeah.
if you want vocal
Yeah.
training. Yeah. But a
Okay.
lot of
All right.
people, when they start to act, all of a sudden their voice changes an octave. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
one of the
Mm,
best exercises
mm,
for getting, well, I'll give you two of the best exercises for kind of
mm.
going through your range.
Yeah.
So, and it's both of these are very common. They use these
Mm,
throughout like all kinds of singing, classical to rock to everything.
yeah.
And the first one is a lip trill, which is like a lot of people can't do the with just yeah. See, if you have trouble with your lips
Yeah,
kinda separating, you can push up a little bit here. You can either use
yeah,
one and that makes it a little easier to
yeah.
okay, so that's a lip trill.
That's
Yeah.
harder for me.
Oh, is it? You try one hand,
Yeah.
just like this. Now, when you're doing that, Jen, push
Yeah.
with the muscles below your belly button, okay?
Okay,
So try
okay.
that right now. Just go,
Okay, okay, I get it. Yeah,
okay? Yeah.
yeah,
You should feel that. Just the only tension you should feel in your body is just that, just those abdominals
yeah,
below your belly button. And then
yeah,
try that with what's called a siren as well. A siren is just making the same noise,
yeah,
but instead of using brrr to hear, you
yeah.
go up through your nose. And so it goes like back behind here and up out through your nose and just
Okay.
focus on that uh, that sound coming from right here, which is what they call the mask. So just so try to do is
Okay.
so how does that feel then in your throat?
It feels better. Like, I feel like it's not as growly down here.
Yeah, it's not it's more relaxed. Okay, so when you're
Yeah,
feeling that that gravelly kind of bit, that's where you're
yeah,
and I realized that because like I have generally
yeah,
have especially over the last 18 months, I haven't really been
yeah,
using those muscles to push. I've been starting to talk lazy, so I'm like, oh
yeah,
yeah, but, so you kind of get into lazy breathing and lazy
yeah,
talking, and then your voice really starts to sound gravelly like that.
yeah.
Plus, all day long being
Mm,
in lockdown, not really
yeah.
speaking to anybody
Right?
is
They're
kind
not
of
getting a workout.
yeah. It's like if you're not using, and then the other thing is when you go to speak on these things,
Yeah.
try to it's almost like you're holding back air, but you enunciate instead of so I'll give you the two examples. So you have
Mhm,
like a consonant that's like hey or
mhm.
ah, like aha or hey. Those are
Yeah,
really breathy
yeah,
consonants versus ma 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 or yeah yeah
yeah.
yeah 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 yeah
Okay.
instead of going ha 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 ha. That's really
Yeah,
breathy, and when you're pushing a lot of breath through
mm,
your vocal cords, that
yeah.
dries them out. That contributes to that gravelly sound.
Yeah, and that growly sound hurts too, so we don't want that.
Exactly, we don't want that, but and
Yeah,
that also comes from that drainage that you get from
yeah,
that irritates the vocal cords,
yeah,
and you don't realize when you're sleeping, you're kind of that
mm,
drainage is coming down, it's irritating
yeah,
vocal cords, and the other thing that will kill your voice, and I
mm,
know this is the few times that I've lost my voice
mm.
has been some of the times have been contributed to incorrect singing, but
Okay,
some of it has been contributed to coughing.
okay.
So when you start to feel sick and you
Yeah,
start to feel cough coming on, for
yeah,
me, I go straight to some sort of cough. Now I have a cough medicine that I use that stops me from coughing. Some of them
mm.
don't work very well, but I
Some of
found
them don't
one
work.
from yeah, one of them I found works for me very well. And so I go straight to that. If I feel like a little tickle, I'm like, get that, and then start getting like water into me and make sure you're doing the gargling, the salt water,
Yeah,
because what that does is it not only um, helps to get rid of that phlegm, which
yeah,
contributes to that fry stuff, but it
yeah.
also soothes and it has an antibacterial effect
Okay.
because
Yeah,
one time I had strep throat and I went to the doctor and I was like,
yeah,
I couldn't speak. I was like, I got to sing tonight. I have to do a show, like a 2 hour show. And I was like, I can't even talk. And he goes,
yeah.
gargle with salt water. I'm like, "Are you
Okay.
kidding?" I was expecting him to go, "Here's a prescription for blah, blah, blah." You know what they
Yeah.
normally do? They're like, "And here, you give me
Yeah.
$50. I've seen you for 2 minutes, and I'm gonna write you a prescription."
Right?
But I think that's one of the last times I've been to the doctor because since then I realized I can heal myself, and I'm like, "Who needs it?" Anyway.
Yeah. Salt water is an amazing thing, though. They use it in, like, so many things. Like, even, like, when you have dental work done, they tell you, "Go gargle with
Yeah.
salt water." Yeah.
I like that's a natural thing,
Yeah.
and that's the thing,
Yeah.
salt water also is a
Mm.
really because I work with this shaman as well, he
Yeah.
talks about, like, the salt in the water, okay, so salt
Mm.
helps it helps the what is the term? It's the conductor, okay, so it helps
Yeah.
as a conductor, so salt water is
Mhm.
a really good conductor of
Yeah.
electricity, which we
Mhm.
are mechanical
We're
biomagnetic
bioelectric. Yeah.
beings.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so,
Yeah,
like, that
and it's all
helps.
you need salt to absorb water. Since we're so much water, you like, not a ton of salt. Please don't go, like, eating a ton of salt, but you need, like, you can look up the amount of salt you need in your diet per day because you need some salt to absorb the water properly.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not promoting
You do.
high sodium content, okay?
Yeah, no, I mean, none of this is to be taken I should have disclaimer, none of this is to be actually taken as medical advice. See your
Yeah, we're
doctor,
not giving
'cause
medical advice, we're just telling you what we do.
yeah, exactly. This is merely what I've done in my experience and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is
Leanne
and
says 2 vocal exercises, lip drill, blow raspberries type thing, 2 siren up through your nose. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the siren up through your nose, that's the one we just tried, right?
yep, that's it,
Yeah.
siren through your nose, yeah.
Yeah, and
Where was that
the
one?
lip
Okay.
drill, blow raspberries. Yeah,
Yep.
blow raspberries.
Yeah.
um, Kev says, "Have you ever taught anyone, Jim, that's gone on to have a great singing career?"
Me.
Well, Jim has one.
Yeah. I mean, I've taught. I'm largely self-taught. I mean, I've taken vocal
Yeah.
um, tuition from a few different over the years, but
Mhm.
I would go. I would go for a little while and go. They're not really teaching me what I want to
Yeah.
learn. I've learned a few key things from some of them, and a lot of them I've just developed my own techniques because I'm like, I got to figure out how to do X, Y, or Z or Z or
Yeah.
whatever. Over here they say Z. So now I'm used to saying Z. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like I suppose, I mean, I've gone on to how like I've sang professionally for over 30 years. I've
Oh,
taught
wow.
for over 20 years,
Yeah.
reluctantly as hell because I used to be really selfish with my teaching. It was a mindset of scarcity,
Yeah.
terrible mindset to have because I what I used to do was like I reached a certain point where
Mhm.
I got a lot of notoriety here in Ireland for being like, the best front man in Ireland. And I
Okay.
was like, okay, I have to protect that. So I was like, I'm not going to teach anybody. But I used to have people come up to me after shows and go, "Hey, do you teach?" And I was,
Yeah.
most of the time I'd be like, no, I don't, because I didn't want to. I just like I don't want to teach
Right?
people, and I didn't want to teach in general because growing up, like I hated teachers. Well, I'm not Irish. I live in Ireland, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. So what was I gonna say? So yeah, growing up, I hated school. Therefore, I kind of hated teachers in
Yeah.
general. The thought of being a teacher, I was like, I don't want to. But there was a few people that I taught over the years
Okay.
um, that have gone on to have career. When I say like good
Yeah.
careers as singers, yeah, I've taught a couple of guys from a band called Hawk the band. They used to be
Yeah.
in a band here. This is the boy band thing. They used to be in a band here called Taken, but
Okay.
these guys are in a band called Hawk the band. I've taught. There's another girl that I've done a little bit of work with her in the local college. And she goes by the name of Pastiche, and she's doing a really good job. But like for myself,
Mm.
mostly self-taught. My biggest thing is we opened up for Share in the 80s cover band, which you would love because we do it's all 80s, the whole
Yeah.
and yeah, so we do all 80s covers. But
That's awesome.
somehow, yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember who it was. It was supposed to open for Cher in Belfast, but
Okay.
they called us because that person either couldn't do it for some reason or they got sick or something like that. But so it was
Yeah.
a great opportunity. So we went up to Belfast, over 10,000 people in the Belfast arena, and we got to open
Yeah.
for Cher. And what was amazing about it is that the promoter and Cher's tour manager both came up to us after the gig and they were like, that was amazing. And
Yeah.
Cher's tour manager said, he said, we would love to have you guys do the
Mhm.
rest of the tour. But that was it. Like
Yeah.
he said, we would have loved to have you do the whole European tour. And what was funny was
That's
I was like,
crazy.
yeah. And I said, hell yeah, we'll do it. And he goes, well, this is the
Right?
last show. This is the last show of our European tour. So that's, and I was like, oh, he said, but we wish we would have had you do all of them. So yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome.
That was a huge compliment. Yeah. And they were all lovely. We got to meet her and like,
Yeah.
and it was just such a great experience because all of the people
Mhm.
that worked around her and
Yeah.
her like her herself like Cher like this amazing they
Yeah.
were so down to earth and just so cool and nice and like and I was like this is
Right?
just
Yeah,
I
nice
mean
work environment, and you get to do
yeah
what you love.
yes I mean like it was so cool it was amazing like I
That's
yeah
amazing, I love that.
yeah yeah it was such a cool
So,
experience
people keep asking in the questions what you teach and what you offer, and I know you have some courses. I put the
yeah
links below, but maybe you could just give, like, a rundown on the stuff that you offer that people can work with you.
okay so I have a few different courses right now and I'm always kind of adding other courses but I have a course that encompasses everything. So this is like what's called my
Mm,
master vocal program, and I take that through.
mhm,
I take them through all of my techniques, like kind of my
okay,
physical techniques,
mhm,
through all the different rock styles and things like that.
yeah,
Um, and then also with that, I have a mindset course built into that because
okay,
what I found is that the biggest part about
mm,
becoming a successful singer, I mean, the thing that you cannot live without is the
yeah,
identity
yeah,
and the confidence. So
mhm,
if you don't have those two things, I've seen it time and time again where there are really, really good like performers musically. I
yeah,
mean, they're really talented, but
yeah,
they fail to succeed because they don't have the identity and they don't have the confidence. So I
yeah,
said that is something that people really need help with, and that's
right,
something that I've learned and you've learned through TCP with Jim Fortin
yep,
is that there's a big course on identity and that wraps into the confidence and everything like that but it's the stories and the
yeah,
beliefs and your values and your goals
mm,
all of that stuff is wrapped into so I have that in the master vocal program which just gives you everything it's 6 weeks
yeah,
so I take somebody from struggling to
mm,
star in 6 weeks okay so
that's
it's kind of a
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
an incredible program, and it's kind of a rapid program because you don't have to take years, months, or
yeah,
anything really to learn how to sing.
mm,
It's just there's a few key things that you need to
mm,
understand as far as the way
yeah,
your body works, and I'm kind of
mhm,
going to talked a little bit about that today. But
yeah,
you need a few key things to
mhm,
figure out how this machine works. Okay. And
yeah,
I call it the vocal machine method.
mhm,
And then the other thing about the identity is it's
mhm,
absolutely critical. So we start off with that because you have to really
mhm,
know why you want to sing. Okay. So you
mhm,
have to, you just go, a lot of people just want to learn to sing. Okay. Well, that's fine. But
yeah,
I know there's a lot of people that say, I want to be a rock star. Okay.
mhm,
Well, to be a rock star, you can't
mm,
work from the identity of
Mm.
somebody who's just singing in their bedroom, kind of trying to
Yeah.
do little things here and there. You must
Mhm.
work from that end identity. So
Yeah.
you have to be that rock, and you know this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
If you're not in your head, you won't have it externally.
exactly. So to
Yep.
be this person,
Mm.
you had to do the things that somebody who would have this super successful international hit coffee chat. You had to
Right.
do those things that that
International hit.
person. Yeah, well,
It
it's international. It is. It's amazing. It's all over the place.
that's true. That's true. Jim, I have identity stuff to work on.
And we all kind of do from time to time. There's always things
Right.
you can slip on and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
I think it's a matter of we get into the place where we don't wanna brag, right? And it's not we're not bragging, we're like we're being our best cheerleader when we say these things, right?
yes, and
Yeah.
that's another thing,
Yeah.
Jen, that I teach in. So I have another
Yeah.
program as well that I've just kind of launched, and I'm
Mm.
going through that course right now with a group now, and I'm going to relaunch it again, kind of
Mhm.
like later towards the year. But it's called Bulletproof
Yeah.
Vocal Confidence.
Okay.
And so what that does is that also includes a piece of it, which is self-esteem. So what
Yeah.
you brought up is we don't want to kind of brag. Well, bragging is
Yeah.
part of having that
Yeah.
self-esteem, you know? And
Yeah.
people
It gets put into us in school to like, "Oh, that's bragging, that's bragging." I was like, "No, that's being proud of ourselves." Like
exactly. I mean,
yeah.
and you can totally
Mm.
it's the thing is when people say, "Oh, I don't want to brag,"
Yeah.
that is largely a self-esteem issue.
Right.
But there's one of these my favorite books, and I
Mm.
bring a lot of this kind of teaching. It's called The Six Pillars of Self-Esteem. Recommend that
Yeah.
to anybody because I did struggle
Mm.
throughout my life,
Mm.
and even up until I think it was about mid last year when I hit a
Okay.
wall
Yeah.
because I was triggered by one of the coaches in that program in Jim Fortin's program,
That.
and it kind of she said something like. Um, what was it? Said something like, "Where do you like? What do you get from benefiting like your self importance or something like that?" And I was like,
Right.
and it triggered me. I like went, "What is she talking about? Like, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm self." And I kind of dug into it, and I was like,
Yeah.
This is a self esteem issue."
Right.
So from that book,
Mm.
um, the author, and it's escaping me at the moment, it'll come to me in a minute, but the six pillars of self-esteem.
Yeah, I put it on
He did
the screen. You probably
awesome.
Google it. Yeah.
Yes, the six pillars of, yeah, you can Google it, but
Yeah.
the author defines self-esteem as feeling confidently
Yeah.
appropriate to life.
Okay.
So and I was like, who am I to do this, that, or the other? And that's a
Right.
self-esteem thing. And the
Yeah.
basic thing that I've found from self-esteem is
Yeah.
everybody is worthy. I don't have to
Yeah.
prove my worthiness.
Right.
And someone else, and this is what I really get annoyed about with social media. Not annoyed, I
Yeah.
don't get annoyed in that sense, but what social media does
Yeah.
is it's a killer of self-esteem because you
Oh,
look and
yeah.
you go, "Wow, look at what that person's doing. They have so many likes," right? Or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it can also
And
work the opposite direction because you can see somebody doing something like, "I'm gonna go do that." I guess it depends on your mindset, right?
true, but what you're
Yeah.
doing often
Yeah.
is you're going, "I'm gonna go do that
Yeah.
because I feel
Yeah.
that that's gonna make my self-esteem
Yeah.
I'm gonna be worth more if I do that." You know,
Yeah.
there is a different thing. There is a
Yeah.
motivation that you're right, it can
Yeah.
be
It can work
positive.
both ways. Yeah.
True, true, but
Yeah.
most
But yeah,
often
if you don't have like, if you haven't been through training like you and I totally get it. Like, it can be, like, so detriment to be like, "Oh my gosh, I
oh,
can't believe they have 300 likes." Like, "Oh my gosh,
yeah.
like, I'm not worthy."
Yes. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, and the thing is, it can
Yeah.
also make
Yeah.
you go, well, like that's the thing when people get starstruck and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
because they go, "Oh, that person's so much better than me." No,
Yeah.
they're just you're just as worthy as
Mhm.
anybody else on the planet.
Yeah.
There's no hierarchy of anything. We're all sort of the
Yeah.
same. And a big part of that, what I've
Mhm.
kind of learned is judgment as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and, just to bring people down from a marketing ground level scientific perspective, okay,
yeah,
so if somebody has 4,000,000 followers and they're only getting 100,000 likes, then their audience is actually only 100,000, okay?
yeah,
That's from a marketing perspective, okay?
mm,
Your audience is only as big as the people interacting with it. So they could have 4,000,000 followers, but their audience is only
yeah,
100,000. It's the same if you have 10,000 people following you and only like 100 people are interacting, your audience is actually
yeah,
only 100 people. So that's
yeah,
that's a way you can bring it down in your mind like, "Oh, okay. Yeah." Like they don't actually
yeah,
have 4,000,000 followers because they don't have 4,000,000 people interacting with them.
yes. And the other thing about that is because now
Yeah.
I am such a deep, deep thinker about things
Mhm.
and very idealistic. And when
Yeah.
people start talking about, I have 4 million followers or blah, 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 whatever, that's just a number, you
Yeah. Like
know?
how many
You,
people are you engaging with? How many people are you
yeah,
helping? Like
yeah. And you lose that identity because
yeah.
it's funny because I have this channel. It's kind of a
Yeah.
secret channel I don't tell anybody about because I don't want to like
Yeah.
it's a channel that I do kind of just it's like this blog
Mhm.
thing every day. I just go, okay, kind of I do a lot of the kind of the manifestation and the woo-woo
Yeah.
stuff and all that kind of kind
Woo-woo
of
stuff.
super weird stuff that like people like
It's not weird.
well, I mean, no, not weird, but like people go, well, that's Rocket
It's
Best
not for
Vocal. What the hell does he
everyone,
do?
right?
It's not for everyone, yeah. Um, and I talk a lot about aliens and stuff
Yeah.
like that as well. Kind of all sort of wide gambit of things that
Yeah.
come in my mind.
Yeah.
Um, but I have 13 followers on there, and I think a couple of those are from my channels. So,
Right?
but anyway, when it's a number like that, you go, okay, that's 13 people. But when
Yeah.
you have, like 30,000 followers or
Yeah.
whatever, then it's just a number of you. Then you start
Yeah.
thinking of this as just a number rather than
Yeah.
that engagement of a person. Those are
Yeah,
people.
relationships, helping people. I have a
Yeah.
quote now right beside my table that says, "Help one person every day."
Yes. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that
yeah,
because I try to do that even with whatever
yeah,
whatever I do and whatever this is doing. I mean,
yeah,
I know this is helping. Obviously, there's a few people on here, and like you're helping people all the time doing this. So I
yeah.
think today is a success.
Right, high
High five.
five. Virtual
Yeah.
high five.
I think you know what? I'm so impressed with like where you've come from where like because I remember what was that when was it March
March, yeah,
2020?
the March TCP, yeah,
Yes, March 2020 was when like I
yeah,
first kind of met you. So you are such a different person from then. You were like just very yeah, you were like it was like
yeah,
you like not colored in. Like it was like
yeah,
do you know when you get a page, it's like a
yeah,
color in page. It was like you just not colored in.
yeah.
But
I
you've
was
done
very much
all
in,
of
like,
this.
doubting myself and lack of self-esteem, yes.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah,
look at this is amazing. And that just goes to show you where this work is so important
yeah.
as we grow. And like
Yeah,
I'm
and if
just
anybody wants to check out who Jim and I sorry, yeah, Jim. Jim, I was like, "Who's Jim?" I was going 2 Jims. There's 2 Jims.
yeah,
If anybody wants to check out who Jim Chandler and I are talking about, it's Jim Fortin. And I will post his
yeah,
link below this video. Just didn't want to
yeah,
confuse people with the Jims.
yeah. Jim Ford, yeah, he's been amazing. Like, and he helps like so many
Yeah.
people. So, I mean,
Yeah.
even just with his, I don't know how many millions of downloads he has, but he has tons of downloads on
Oh,
his
it's crazy.
podcast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Leanne had some questions, or not maybe questions, but statements. Leanne, one of my main reasons to learn how to sing or just improve in any ways because I'm tired of butchering songs that mean so much and self-esteem issues from thinking I need to sound like a professional singer. Why so much pressure? So
Yeah, I
maybe check out Jim's courses. They're below this video, Leanne. The resources and courses that Jim has, or maybe like shoot him a message on Instagram too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can reach out to me any which way, and certainly, I
Okay.
mean, just a short answer of that is like
Yeah.
butchering songs is
Yeah.
that's what your interpretation of that is, and we
Mm,
often are so hard on ourselves. We say, "Oh, I
mhm.
butchered that," right? Just because it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like what? I mean, what are you
Yeah.
expecting? Um,
Exactly.
and it
It's your
doesn't.
definition of what you think something should be. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
probably not butchering it. Maybe it just doesn't
Yeah.
sound exactly as the original, but like
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah. So yeah, this is cool. Oh,
Okay.
I love it. Look how we've gone 46 minutes.
I know. I was like, we could probably keep talking forever, but I have to get off like in 5 minutes
Yeah.
because I have another live on Instagram from somebody else's
Oh my
channel.
God. I'm gonna miss you. How can we have to do this again tomorrow? No,
Right? Jim and I will be
next week.
back with a part two.
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. I am like just like I'm blah blah blah. I could stay on here for 5 hours talking to
No,
you.
I'm serious though. Like I'm doing this until May, so you're
Yeah.
totally welcome to come back for like a part two just on mindset.
I would love that. I would love that
Okay.
because that's one of my super jams. I love
Yeah,
mindset,
we will
and
put that in the box because I would totally like to talk to you about like the definition of success and stuff because that's been something that I've been huge on people about because I see so many people like even this morning I got so lit up, Jim. Like somebody posted like, "Oh, you're not gonna have any friends, and you're gonna work till your like eyes bleed," like Jim said. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, stop teaching people that! Like, stop
yeah,
it!"
oh yeah, I know. Like it just get yeah. But it's there's always going to
Like
be people out there that
I
just think
know, but
you
I
have to.
hate that people are teaching other people that. Like, it's just I did a live the other week. I'm like, the number one definition of success should be if you're happy. Are
Totally.
you happy?
That's it. That's it. Because that's what I mean. That is what people want. Like for me,
Right?
I was like, what is success? Is it a big
Yeah,
house? It is. It's kind of success is what you define it as.
yeah,
But if you're defining it as owning a
like
big house, that's
and money and
external, right?
yeah,
And what do you think that big house is going to get you is
yeah,
happiness, right? It
yeah,
all comes back to happiness, doesn't it?
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
want to win the lottery. Why? Because I want the
yeah,
money. Because I want $4 million. Why do you want
yeah,
$4 million? Because it'll make me happy. No, happiness is a choice, which is
yeah.
what we learned as well, and we learn after Jim teaches that.
Oh
The other
yeah,
Jim.
I know so many people who have switched jobs and taken a pay cut because the other job makes them happier. So it's not about the money. The money is a tool and a resource that we use to do things. But it
Yes,
should be the fact, are you happy? And if you're not happy, then what's going to make you happy?
yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get off because you got to. I don't want to keep you from
All
your
right.
Instagram, but
Yeah. Jim and I will be
I've
back for part two.
I'd love to do that. I'd love because I could talk to you all about this stuff all day. I absolutely adore you. You are
Thank
incredible,
you.
Jen. I appreciate. I'm so stoked that you. I'm honored that you actually asked me to do this.
Aw,
I've
thank you
enjoyed
so much. I
this.
feel like I see your videos all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's like totally like killing it. And I totally want to take a class with you because when I was a little girl, Jim, I always wanted to be a singer too. So
I know I can hear it in your voice. I can hear it in your voice. That's something. Well, yeah, totally. We could do a class as well, and then we can go on and talk about that after too. So cool. Uh,
everybody says, I love your philosophy, Jim. Good to meet you both. Look forward to another episode with you both. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for everyone for like hanging out with us. And yeah, like I
yeah.
said, I will touch base with Jim about getting a part two on the mindset stuff if you want to come hang out with us again.
Oh, Leanne gave us a heart. Leanne,
Aw.
love you guys. You guys are so cool. Thank you. This is
Oh,
great.
thanks,
I
Jim.
can't wait to do part two. It's gonna be it's gonna rock.
Thank
Okay.
you.
See you, Jen.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
looking forward to too. And if anybody wants to work with Jim, all of his links are below this video on YouTube. So make sure to go check them out. All of his courses and all of his resources and stuff in his social medias. All right.
Yeah.
Have an
That's
amazing day,
right.
everyone.
Thank you.
I
See
will
you
talk
guys.
to
Have a
y'all
great day.
soon.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
See you. Bye bye.